Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. Oh, I'm so excited. I just finished talking to our guest today. I always like to do the intro after because I never know what we're going to talk about. I never know where it's going to go. I have an idea, but then it goes where it goes. Y'all, I cannot wait for you to meet Elizabeth Ann Kilpatrick. She is a phenomenal woman in so many different ways. Someone I had the great pleasure of getting to know transentially from the same network marketing company. And then as my coaching business took off, she ended up being part of that community. And here we are. You're going to hear a lot of things. We talk about a lot of great topics that I know are going to help you where you are right now. What you're going to hear from Elizabeth is authenticity. And I think when you hear her journey and see not only what she's done to legitimately grow her business on Instagram, but more importantly, you're going to hear how she's found who she is, what her brand is, and what that's meant for her journey. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what my brand is, Roxanne. I don't know. Or this Instagram thing's just not working for me. I really encourage you, or you're just thinking like, golly, am I in the right place? Am I supposed to be doing this? I really encourage you to lean in and listen to every drop of nuggets. And there's so many good ones in this conversation with Elizabeth Ann, because I know it's going to move you. And I believe it's going to help really pivot you. Or I say pivot, maybe it's not a pivot. Maybe it's really going to solidify your journey right now and help you kick off the next year as well too. So without further ado, let's dive into the conversation with the amazing Elizabeth Ann Kilpatrick. Happy holidays, happy holidays. I can't help but say that. And it is the holiday season. And around these parts, you're probably wondering, well, what are the offers? What's Roxanne offering right now to the holiday season? Right now, for a limited period of time, I haven't even decided. It's going to be short. What we're doing is this, and I think you're going to love it. Offering you two things that are going to help you not only end the year well, but kick off 2022 well. And that is getting the Business Tracker Bundle. Now, you've heard me talk about the Network Marketers Business Tracker Bundle. I know you've heard, because I like to talk about it, because I know how important it is for you. Getting on the right foot, whether you have one client or 200 clients, whether you have 0 team members or 10,000 team members, this is going to help you get really clear on where your numbers are, how your business is going, setting up your goals. Most network marketers lose money right now. When you're listening, this is the time of year. It's the most wonderful time of year and the time of year that network marketers lose money. Let's not let that happen. And that's one of those things that we're not going to let that happen anymore. So dive into the Business Tracker Bundle. But here's the great thing. When you get the Business Tracker Bundle this month, you're also going to get 1 free month of Social Stories. Social Stories is the membership that has helped so many network marketers like you figure out Instagram, figure out Facebook, and understand how to create a, dare I say, funnel, so that when strangers find you on social media and connect with you and then join you in business and buy your product. It is that simple. And you'll hear a little bit more about this today, but it's a great opportunity for you to kick off 2022 right. So if you're interested, simply go to socialstoriesmembership.com. You'll see a link right there, or go to the Roxtalks podcast page. Again, that's 2 things. Buy 1, get 1 free. Love it. Elizabeth Ann.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for being here. It's funny because I feel like we're way overdue in having this. You've always been someone like, I need to have Elizabeth on the podcast. And it just hasn't happened yet. But I think timing, I know timing is everything.
Absolutely. And here I am.
And here you are. And I feel like it's good to tell everyone how we got to this point of why you're here right now. But I think we'll get there. So I want to hear a little bit about, obviously your network marketing. That's what we do here. That's what we do around these parts. Tell me your journey.
That is a long story, so I'll try to make it short.
Okay.
I am a mother of 3. And in 2012, a long time ago, got invited to a party for a company I'd never heard of. And one of my girlfriends literally said, hey, we're going to have wine and hors d'oeuvres on a Thursday night. And I was a mostly stay-at-home mom. I taught part-time, but mostly a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids. And I heard wine and cheese on a Thursday night with girlfriends and was like, I don't care what is being sold. I'm just going. And I have a master's degree in technical writing and was teaching at a university part-time. And so to say that network marketing was something I never intended to do is like a massive understatement, but went and I had been struggling with adult acne and decided to take a chance on some products just as a customer. And the products worked. And I decided to jump on board, which was scary because I thought I was too good for it. And I'll be honest. My box of products, my business kit came and it sat in the corner. And I had to do the thing in my mind where I was like, what are people going to think of me? But I finally decided to just do it. And I've really never looked back.
Well, it's interesting to hear that. And I get that because when you come from academia or you come from the corporate world, the idea of network marketing is just, I always say, I remember growing up, one of my piano teachers had a Mary Kay closet. And that's what I thought of. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Nothing wrong with Mary Kay closet. That was not what you do. I know you. It was thinking about why I know you. Like, how do I know Elizabeth Ann? And I don't remember, except that I just remember you were a badass in that company. And we were in the same company. You were badass. You were a name that I always saw and knew. And like, somehow we became Facebook friends at some point. I don't know when, don't know. But you rocked it. So what was the mental switch that got you from, I'm too good for this to, okay, let's do this. And let's make this just not something that's sitting in my corner.
I think that it was a natural switch for me. And I'll be honest, my family is incredibly entrepreneurial, and the people in both sides of my family always did non-traditional work schedules and jobs. So even if they were a part of a company, there was not this 9 to 5, you go to work and sit in a cubicle or whatever. So, once I really began doing it, I realized that I kind of already had some of that within me. My grandfather is in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame for golf. And he was a huge entrepreneur, he made putters that were sold around the world. Older golfers will know who I am if I tell them who my grandfather was, kind of thing. And he also had a music company. So I already had some of that in me, but the mindset shift that happened was that I got my first real paycheck.
Isn't that empowering?
Oh my heavens. Whoa. And so for me, I had this kind of idea of oh, wait a second. I think I might be good at this. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that I could see other people who had success, and I could see that they were not that different from me. Yeah. And that was very empowering too. And I wanted a way to contribute to my household. I didn't, quote unquote, need the money. I was married. My husband, my ex-husband, did very well. And so it wasn't a matter of money for me. I just found a lot of agency and autonomy. And it was something I was building for me. It was something I felt like I went into this community and became. They didn't know me as a wife and a mother. They knew me as me. Yeah. And it was a lot of different factors that helped me to really step into that.
So why did you leave?
That's a loaded question, but I'll do my best. I had begun to feel frustrated in a lot of ways with some business decisions I saw that were not, in my mind, solid business decisions from a corporate level. On top of that, I really embarked on this journey of health and wellness. I had divorced. So many things had transitioned in my life. And I really just felt like I needed a different direction. but really didn't know what that direction was. And stumbled upon a company and pivoted, made a huge change. And really, that was something that you and I were very new to, sort of being a more coachy relation.
From this, just like we know each other, but to me, like coaching,
we know each other, and we've kind of transitioned into that. And one thing you talk a lot about is being your own CEO. And this was early in my journey of really owning that my role as CEO. I'd been very successful in my business for many, many years. We're talking 7 years by this time, but didn't really think of myself as a CEO. I'll be honest.
That's interesting.
And had really begun to step into that and think of myself as a businesswoman. And
what did you think of yourself as?
I really, for a long time, felt like I sort of stumbled upon it. I had a lot syndrome? Yeah, very much so. Felt like very insecure. Like it was not necessarily something in me. It was something external, like the company was good or the products were good. But I had begun to realize that, yes, I am a leader. Yes, I am good at what I do. And had begun to see my business as a business, which is part of the reason I became restless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I could see some things happening and kind of went, oh, I don't know that I want to be around for this, but loved the community and the people I was with. So really was torn, but decided to make a huge pivot, which was a risk. I gave up a very nice income to make a pivot and to take a chance on myself. So
would you say that breakup, because it is a breakup, was
absolutely
like a divorce in the sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 7 years is a long time. You had a very large team. You had a great income, but something wasn't right.
Something wasn't right. And I had, on my health and wellness journey and on my own healing journey, because I'm slap in the middle of midlife. I'm 45 now. I was 42, 43 at this time.
Always younger than J-Lo. Continue.
Always younger than J-Lo. But she always looks younger than me.
No comment there. She looks younger than all of us. Let's be real.
No, for real. But truly, I had begun to really listen to my own inner voice and more to my gut about things, and began to trust myself a lot more. And that was part of my own personal journey. But it really came into looking at the business and realizing that even if I dearly loved the people, that I had to be smart enough to go with what I felt was, as a business person, a better choice for me personally. And come to the point where I believed in myself enough to say, I'm going to start this over.
See, that's huge. Couple things before we keep moving, because I want to just pinpoint those. First and foremost, there's so many people who stay in a business relationship because they're not treating it like a business, they're treating it like a relationship that is not feeding them. And they know it's not feeding them. But for one aspect, I like the product still. Honey, you can buy the product. You don't need to be part of the company. Or I like the community, which is very important. I'm not diminishing that. But you were ballsy to be in a great situation and say, I believe there's something better out there for me. But that also means you don't live in a lack mindset. So kudos to you, because the fear, I remember even in my corporate world, people wanted to leave certain things, or if they didn't like the environment they're in, but were terrified to leave because they almost did the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And it's like, wait, what if the devil you don't know is actually an angel? Hello?
You don't know. And a wise friend of mine likes to say that you're not ahead, you're not behind, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I don't know who said that. Wise.
I like her though. I like her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't do it originally, by the way. I just love that phrase. I didn't create it, but I love it.
And I really have come to the point where I do believe that. I I listened to my inner voice. Now, the funny thing is that after I did that, things didn't exactly go the way I thought they would. But I can see now where they were headed. And I also had enough faith in myself to hang tight with the journey. And I say that like it was an easy thing. It was not an easy thing at all.
No, it wasn't.
As you well know. But I trusted the wisdom, my own wisdom and my own experience, even when I was terrified.
There is a lot of wisdom and maturity in that, because I think when people think about the next thing they're going to do, when they do decide to take that leap in life and whatever, the assumption is that you're jumping from one great thing to the next great thing. And we miss the point that sometimes the next thing we jump to is not the next big thing. It's the thing where we need to heal, where we need to learn, where we need to grow, so that we are actually ready for the next big thing. But we cannot do the learning, the growing, the healing if we're still in the thing that we need to get out of.
Exactly. And literally the month that I made the pivot, the whole world shut down.
Yes, it did. That would have been March 2020.
March of 2020.
So where were you when the world stopped turning? Remember that song that was about 9/11? But literally shut down.
Literally shut down. So I had made this huge leap. I was in a new town. I was, a year and a half in a new marriage. I mean, so much transition at once.
Were you like, oh, beep, what did I do?
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I did have days where I was like, oh my goodness, I've lost my mind. Mm-hmm. But then on the flip side of it, when everything goes haywire and everything changes at once, in some ways you're just hanging on for the ride.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to overthink any one thing, because all the things.
That's a good point.
And I was very fortunate because I had a partner who, at least in this, very much believed in me.
I love that. He's so good for you, by the way. P.S. And by the way, shout out to him.
Yes.
I think that when we make a big leap, I always say, like, sometimes you're on the right road, because this is how I say it, then I believe it. It's like, I'm on my path to whatever and I'm doing great. And then like Satan tries to pull me down. I'm like, not today, Satan, go away. And so in a way, you making that big pivot, and then it's like, okay, we're shutting down, is for some people who are not rooted and believe, and who do not believe in themselves or something bigger, they think, oh crap, I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't.
But you didn't. You didn't.
Well, and I've learned enough about life to realize that there's no value in me second guessing it. If it's done, it's done. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not like some superhero. I do have my days, but for the most part, I very much have the belief that when it's done, it's done.
I'm like,
I have to move on from it. And,
and you cut ties in ways that most people kind of go, well, I'll just kind of keep it. You're like, no, I'm done.
I'm done.
Here's my
and I will tell you that in a business that gets sometimes a bad rap for the way that people behave, one of the very big leaders in my previous company, several months after this pivot happened, actually reached out to me and she said, I just want to thank you for behaving with such integrity. And because I did that, I didn't burn bridges. I didn't make people, I'm sure people were upset, but no one was angry or felt like I had acted in a way that was unethical. And I really think one reason that I was so firm in what I did and did not second guess myself was because I felt like I did it right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I did it for the right reasons and that I was ethical and held my integrity in the way that I did it.
And you respected others the entire time.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I had no ill will towards anyone. I really was doing what I felt like I had to do, what I was being called to do.
Yeah, that's huge. Around this time as well, too, because, like you said, I was coaching and started coaching you more than you. I don't remember what the assignment was, but you understood the assignment and you posted something about sobriety. Do you remember that?
Yes. So I don't remember the assignment, but I will say this. um, I stopped drinking January the 2nd, 2020.
I want everyone to think about that for a second,
because a hell of a year to stop drinking.
Because where were you? Most other 3 months later, we were in the bottom of a bottle, but not you.
No, not me. And I was quiet about it at first. It was a personal thing. And when I got around 90 days, I really felt a strong pull, again, listening to my intuition on this, to be public about my sobriety. Because I just felt like there's probably somebody out there who needs to see this. And talk about a shift in my life then. So 90 days sober for me was around the same time I made a business pivot. So, I mean, it was like when I see everything was transitioning, it was really nuts. Mm-hmm. But in many ways, that is the thing that I think set me on the path to where I am now. The not drinking, the trusting myself, all of it worked together and gave me a direction. And, pivoting into in the conversation to the social media part of it, I didn't begin posting about sobriety on social media because I felt like I was going to be, building a brand so that I could then monetize. Like, it was not that at all. It really was a personal thing and me feeling like I wanted to help other people. And if my story could just help somebody, that would somehow give it a bigger purpose.
It was authentic.
It wasn't me being like, I'm going to totally, and I still don't think of it like that. But
I remember the assignment.
What was it?
I told you all you had a superpower and that it was time for you to start putting your superpower out there on social media. And most people, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, which is all part of branding, right? Is finding your superpower. And boy, did you find your superpower.
And the interesting thing is that I would have told you a year ago that sobriety was my superpower. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My superpower is being vulnerable and authentic.
Which talking about sobriety brings out.
And it has given me the strength to talk about other things that I've struggled with. Again, not in an attention-seeking weird way, but because, and I've talked about this, I think often when we're struggling with things, we feel like we are alone. Mm-hmm. There is this sense that we're the only one, that if anybody knew, they'd think we're crazy or whatever. And I really don't want people to think they're alone. We're not alone. The thing I found on my journey is that there may be the rare case that you're the only one, but I somehow doubt it.
I need to pause. I just got triggered. Okay.
Oh no.
I call out bad behavior when it happens. Mm-hmm. And there is an uprising from a company, network marketing company, where they're using sobriety as a way to then promote a new product they have. Yeah. I don't like to pepper people before. I didn't know we were going to talk about this. We're going down this. So I want everyone, when you hear what Elizabeth Ann is saying, please don't, this does not give you license to start talking about something that you're not actually experiencing. Like, I think that the fact that you talk about sobriety from a real place gives respect to the situation, and it respects everyone, because everyone's in a different, some people decide they want to stop drinking for whatever reason. Some people need to stop drinking for other reasons. And you are very respectful of all of that. So let me just say to anyone who's like talking about how, I went sober because you want to then sell your supplements. Please stop. Please stop.
Please stop. I mean, one of my big issues is big alcohol and the way we've been marketed to as women. And I have a lot to say on that, and that's a whole different podcast. But I didn't do this as a marketing ploy. Mm-hmm. I first set out to just help one person not feel alone, and began unintentionally in some ways to build community through social media. But bear in mind, we were locked down for most of this. So this wasn't a situation where I could go out and find other people. So I was trying to help other people, and I was also trying to find support for myself.
Yeah.
And it gave me the courage to talk about other things like my struggle with anxiety, on all the ancillary things, the things that are on the outskirts of that, because sobriety is only one part of a healthy, whole, joyful life. Mm. And I really want to respect everybody's thing. I mean, we all have different journeys. We're all on different paths. We're all in different places on our paths, even if we're on the same journey. And that is okay. There were people who went before me who were authentic and told their stories. And I thank God for them, because I knew I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten to help people not feel like they're alone. And it's so funny to think that in some ways, the most profound thing I've done with my life is to have a drinking problem and decide to be public about stopping. I think that, other than having children and raising them, may be my most lasting imprint on the world. It will be my legacy. And that's wonderful. And the business side of it's like, yes, now I've built a community and whatever, and we can talk about business, but just from a pure, the good part of social media, the good part of being authentic and vulnerable on social media is that we really can serve people. I really get to help actual people. And that's the larger picture. That's the bigger picture. That's the stuff that matters.
Thank you for that, first of all. And thank you for that being your contribution, because I know you're helping so many people and you're giving them that security of knowing they're not alone and knowing that there's other options. There's things that they can do. And that you're always rooting for them. I see that, most people would say, wait a moment, you're thankful for your drinking problem. That sounds counterintuitive, but it's beauty for ashes, right?
Absolutely. And I'm humbled by that. Mm-hmm. I've had a rough go of it in life in a lot of ways. I've been privileged in other ways, obviously, but yes, beauty from ashes. Mm-hmm. And that gives purpose to our pain too. I mean, I had a lot of struggles and I hit a lot of very low places. But I'm grateful for all that, because that is what has propelled me to help other people. It's given me perspective to help other people. If everything had gone right and I'd done everything right,
you'd be like a 12-year-old singing a love song on TV.
I would.
You're like, okay.
I love that. A 12-year-old singing a love song.
Like, really?
Yeah. I don't think you know what you're talking about there, but okay.
Okay. And you know what? There's no coincidence in my mind. Everything happens for a reason. You know that. There's no coincidence that January 2020, you would decide I'm going to stop drinking, because yes, in any year, in any space and time, you're helping people, but man, oh man, to help people during lockdown, during an international lockdown, the world stopped turning. They needed you more than anything, which I think is one of the reasons you frustrate me so much. You like that segue?
Okay, let's have this conversation.
Because I peep on social media, on my clients' social media. I'd look at your and my friend's social media, and you're both of those things. And I'd look at your social media, and you're like stinking like regramming or whatever you want to call it, all these other people's messages. And I'm like, woman, you have a message. Stop resharing, reposting, regramming, whatever you want to call it, other people's. I'll allow you to respond.
You gave me a deadline to do all of my own stuff, and I beat your deadline. But that was part of my process too. And I will say that I was kind of trying to figure some things out for myself and how to best help people and get my message out. And really, I have had the best success when I've just owned it for myself. All part of the journey. And I do feel like I have things to say now. I know I have things to say now. And the fact that I didn't make that connection as someone in academia, who that is the whole point. I mean,
yeah,
but I think at the beginning, I didn't feel like I was some expert. And I realized that my life experience is my expertise at this point.
Let's say that again for the people in the back of the room.
Your life experience is your expertise. Period.
Yes. And you all needed to hear that because we all play really small because we're not, who has life experience that we're not so-and-so, whoever you think is like amazing. I'm not her. And whether it's a celebrity or like someone in your network marketing company, what do they have that you don't have? Nothing.
And when you get to know them, you figure that out.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, that hurt.
And then you're like, oh, but there's something empowering in that. Like we all have it within us.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they can leave the bathroom and have their dress and their underwear. Like they're normal is my point. Like and it's not to take anything away from them. It's actually to give more to you. Like you have to realize you're an expert. It is why some days I get so frustrated looking at social media. And I was tongue in cheek with you, but I was serious.
No, it's okay. I can take that.
I know you can. Because I see people and I'm like, I see your greatness. You are your brand. And you hear me say this all the time. The reason that network marketing companies is because they need you. Their product, I'm sure, is lovely and wonderful, and that is great. But what sets their product apart is not because it gives results. It's because of you. And yet we do this whole, like, let me go ahead and erase and scrub myself from the situation. And let me just make it about my company. No one needs that. That is not what makes you successful. Okay.
People don't join companies. They join people.
Amen.
And that process of finding that voice is what makes you attractive to other people. And the bonus is that if you're authentic in who you are, you will attract other people who are kind of on your same vibe. Like who you're attracting your people, you're attracting the people that you will want to work with, that you will want to have in your life, that it all is a cycle. It's, the circle of life, and Simba held high.
Well, pain on the bottom.
Exactly.
You messaged me the other day, you voice messaged me and you're like, Roxanne, your Instagram strategy, it works.
It does. Who knew? So sometimes I can be stubborn. But I had an aha moment the other day, and that was when I messaged you. I was looking at my Instagram, and the flip side of the pivoting story is that 6 weeks ago, I pivoted again. Mm-hmm. Took another huge leap. And as I'm working through this and I'm sort of putting up my stories and doing things, people were coming to me about my new business. I had people join me in my new business, and I was not hunting them down, cajoling, I wasn't doing the thing where I felt like, oh God, they've got a sign. And people were coming to me, and I was looking at my Instagram and I was looking at this thing happening. And I had this moment of being like, oh, this was the goal. Huh. And it's worked. And it isn't that I didn't believe you, but it's one of those things where you kind of all of a sudden go, oh, I've been employing all of these things. I've been doing all of these things. I've been, building. And then all of a sudden it's like something shifts.
Yeah.
And in my case, my sobriety kind of began my journey of building myself as a brand. And then really beginning to talk about the things in sobriety that were underneath my drinking. So my anxiety, my journey with mindfulness, my sort of now in middle age, really realizing, and you and I just talked about this, that I am slapped into perimenopause and a whole nother part of my journey as a woman. And being open about those things from the standpoint of really serving people, and then realizing that that's what will attract people into business with me as well.
Yeah.
And so, we're just talking about this, like, I really began to treat my Instagram. It was the place where I could talk about sobriety very openly. And it was where I did talk about sobriety really openly. And I took my last name off of it. Like, I don't even have my last name on my Instagram. And it's not that I'm embarrassed of that. It was that for me, that became the platform through which I could build a community of other people who were on the same path. And that I didn't need that to keep up with people in high school. I could do that with my Facebook personal page. But these were all things you had coached. And I had this huge realization, like, oh, wow, that worked.
I love it. And yay, it does work. I think we think that if I do these things and I do it and I hit this mark, boom, 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 I run around the base, that I should, where are my results? And the truth of the matter is, even like know, like, and trust factor, that takes time. My strategy works. It takes people different lengths of time, and it's not something that's going to happen in 3 months. It's not because you're developing relationships with strangers. You've developed relationships with legitimate strangers, people you did not know, who now follow you. They trust you. They look for your information that you're putting out there. And lo and behold, when you mention that you're with a company, they just flat out join you. Strangers are joining you.
Absolutely. And that was the big thing. I was like, wow, okay. And I also get from it community as well. Like, I've made genuine relationships. And how wonderful is that?
Yeah.
But the fact that what I did in the meantime, while I was helping people and folks, that now that also benefits me in my business, like, what a wonderful deal.
I love that. I say often in social stories, and I love it because you have embodied the social stories success blueprint, and you've worked it, and it's step by step. It's tweaking, because social media tweaks, and bada bing, here you are. But what I love, and I often say to people, is in a perfect world, we would figure out our shit. I said it. I have to remember to make this explicit. We would figure out our brand. We would know who we are first. And we would talk and we would share about that. And then we would find a network marketing company that fits that. But that is not how most of us get into network marketing. We buy a product we're kind of interested in. It gave us some results, and our friend did it or whatever. And now we're in it. And it may be something that you really it doesn't jive with who you are or what your brand truly is.
Well, and that became the case with me in my company I was with for 7
Now
years.
that you look back on it, that's what it was. I mean, it was that it was not your brand. That didn't fit with who you are. But
Right.
we think we have to stick with we have to dance with the one that brought us. Yeah, not true.
Not really true.
Not true. Who brought Cinderella? The mice brought her? Like, is she dance with mice still? You don't have to dance with one that brought you. Can respect and be thankful for that experience. But y'all, like, if you're a vegan and you're selling beef jerky because your doctor told you to eat beef jerky for a while because you were low on iron, get out. Like,
Find something else to
find
do.
something else. There's so many companies.
There are, and nothing is the be all end all.
Nothing.
It isn't. And that realization that you really are your brand, if you build a brand and you and build a brand that's authentically who you are, which is the easiest brand to build, because if your brand is who you are and you're authentic in it, you're not having to like twist yourself around for it.
Exactly.
If you build the brand, you can pivot into almost anything, and people will go with you.
They will.
They will trust you, and they will, and that's a beautiful thing. That really goes in life too, but from a business standpoint, if you are who you are, you can shift and people are not going to go, oh, now she's in that. I mean, I am about to start talking about hormones like crazy and women's health because of experiences I'm having in my life. And I know I'm not alone. I was not alone in sobriety. I am not alone in this. And if I can help one person not to go through the things I've gone through, again, that's what I want to do. And I do think that one key for me, and I think that this is a shift that's happening in the industry, and I love seeing it, is that my first and foremost thing is to serve people. It is to prioritize relationship over business. When you do that, the business will happen. And I'm not saying you don't work for it. I'm not saying we're not business people and all of those things, but my growth happened when I decided to serve.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that I don't do well in a business where I can't clearly see how I'm helping others.
You've learned your purpose and your passion.
Yes.
And I can relate to that so much, because once you figure that out, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as it feeds and serves that purpose and passion.
Absolutely.
And serving people first. I think with network marketing, we get into this churn of like these goals, and there's nothing wrong with setting goals. You all know I love goals. There's nothing wrong with getting ranks. That's awesome. Grand Poobah Wizard is fantastic. But the thing is, when that becomes the first thing and serving people becomes the second thing, then we have issues. Absolutely. And then we start cutting corners, and then we wonder why things aren't working. And if we look at it, it's funny because they say, oh, it's like a 2 to 4 year plan, or it's this plan, but we get in there and we want it right now. And I get that, but you're not a jackhammer. You guys know we need some romancing of the stone. And so like, it goes back to what I teach in Social Stories about, like, let's do one thing at a time, build it out, figure out your brand, because 99.9% of network marketers have no idea what their brand is. No, going into it. Wouldn't you say? Like most.
Oh my gosh. The first time I did a workshop with you and we were trying to figure out our target market and our brand, I was like, I did some people with skin and I don't know. It's a scary thing to narrow it down, but I can tell you super specifically who I'm talking to now. And that's liberating.
I think I need to go back to talking about that a little bit again with people, because I had someone the other day say, I help everyone, males, females, every age group. And I'm like, are we still doing this? And then I think to myself, also, when I ask people what their brand is and they tell me the name of their company, they don't know. They just don't know.
Well, and I think about it this way. the company I'm with now, the
You
product.
can say the name, by the way.
Oh, I can't. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I am with Hugh and Grace, and I'm having a blast. But these products can be used by men or women. They're safe for babies. They're non-hormone disrupting. So they help in a larger sense, but I am 45 years old. I'm what I call an almost empty nester. My children are older. I've got 21, 17, and 13. And I have a 10-year-old stepson. He's wonderful. But, I'm in the downslope of motherhood. Most of my job is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I live more like an empty nester. I am solidly Gen X. I am, so I'm not talking to men. I'm not talking to young mothers. If peripherally they hear me and resonate in some way, fantastic. They may resonate with my sobriety journey, but not with my hormone figuring it out middle-aged woman journey. But so I'm really talking to Gen X women who were most likely young mothers, who are in the downslope or on the downslope of motherhood, who are looking at what they're going to do with this second half of their lives, and maybe have come to the point where they're like, you know what? I've lived for everybody else. I'm going to do some things for me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't need to blanket all of these other people.
Because there are plenty of people that you just described in that exact area.
And even within that, I'm talking to people who are most likely going to be at least sober curious. And I've had to own that too. I'm not anti-drinking. I just want to be clear. But the community I want to build and have built is with people who are open-minded to living a different way than our culture kind of tells us as women we're supposed to live.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that is an incredibly narrow focus, except if I know when I am talking that that's who I'm talking to, again, that's liberating. I'm not worried about the man. I'm not worried about the 22-year-old who's having her first baby. If those people hear me, fantastic. But I know what Gen X women are going through, at least most of my peers. And so that's where the value comes. I can give value to those people because I know who they are. They're me.
So huge. This is the thing. And and I love that you said, when you first did a workshop with me, you're like, I have no idea. And now you're like, I know exactly who I'm talking to, which gives you so much focus and direction on social media. And if you guys have not checked out your social media, is it Yoga? Wait, what?
Yoga Pants Warrior.
Yeah. Okay, I want to make sure it was still that because you said you'd change it. So you can check her out on Instagram and definitely check that out and see, who she is, what you're going to get. And it is well branded. And she did not do that overnight. She worked on it. And I want people to remember that as well, too. You put the work in.
You and I first began the real journey with this in October of 19.
Wow.
So
happy anniversary-ish. We're a little past it. That's, oh my gosh.
Celebrated our 2 years. Yes. But truly, that's what it took. And that may seem like a long time if you're brand new and you have these huge, big goals and dreams. But in the grand scheme of life, that's not a very long time. And if you look at other businesses and what it takes other businesses to, like traditional quote unquote businesses, to be profitable. And also you talk a lot about this dating relationship thing. And I thought about this the other day. Mm-hmm. Some of us meet someone and we get married in 6 weeks. Some people date for 7 years. Either way is okay. And you end up the same place. So it's bowing out of that FOMO and fear of missing out and really walking your own path. and doing that. And if you'd have told me in October of 19, well, it's going to take you to, almost 2022, I probably would have been like, I don't know if I'm in for that. So if you're somebody who is on the sort of path and trying to figure out your social media and trying to figure out your brand and target market, and you're feeling like that's super overwhelming and how in the world are you going to do it? And it's easier to just say it's everybody. I will tell you, it is not easier for it to be everybody. It's not. You put in the time and you figure it out. And that's where the gold is. And the gold, business-wise, yes, but really there's a lot of fulfillment in it as well. I mean, finding your people. I mean, my Instagram is growing very nicely. And every time I decide to put something out there, I ask myself, okay, is this really who I am? Am I being honest? And that doesn't mean like I air my dirty laundry. I do not. Well, probably some people would say I do, but I'm not like talking bad about people or anything, but really just being willing to be honest. But the things that do the best on my social media are when I decide to talk about something that really matters. We are hungry for authenticity as a culture. We are hungry for connection. We are hungry for people who are kind and thoughtful and real and understanding and accepting and all of those things. And don't be those things in a fake way, but if you are who you are, your people will find you. And then you get to be in business with them.
I know. And they're finding you. And I'm loving that so much, so much. Oh, I feel blessed because I'm like, what did I do to get these amazing people in the social stories community? Like, seriously.
You know what you did?
No.
I will tell you exactly what you did. You are who you are. You are authentic. You are caring. You're tough, but fair. You're willing to tell people like it is, but not in a hateful way. Like you're very, your spirit comes through even when you're telling us things that we don't necessarily want to hear. So you did it the same way I did it. And you did it the same way you're coaching other people to do it. You're who you are. You are yourself. And that is so more than enough. And I will tell you that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You have found your gift and your superpower. And now you help other people find that. And that's going to be your legacy. And what a beautiful one, because if you hadn't challenged me to go post about my superpower or find my superpower, think of just the ripple effect of the fact that you challenged me to find my superpower. And I found my superpower, and now I get to help other people. And they're going to help other people. That's what we do. I'm so sorry. I'm going to make you cry. But that's true. It's true.
Thank you for that.
But thank you.
Thank you. I
mean, you're stuck with me now.
I love being stuck with you. You know that. I didn't know we were going to go here, but thank you.
Oh, there you go.
I was wait, hang on. I made a list of things, and maybe this is why, because I wanted to make sure that you were dropping all these great nuggets earlier. And I was like, oh, wait, stop saying that. We got to talk about this on the podcast. Hold on. Oh, I got one more. Okay. And then I want you to tell us more about you and Grace. You have always, as you make these hard decisions, you've said, this is a business. You said, this is a business. And you and I were also talking about how, like, I have realized, I used to tell my mentor when I was doing home shopping, literally on TV, selling things, and I was like, I'm not a salesperson. Why are you and the CEO would he stopped. He's like, Roxanne, finally he got so mad. He's like, you have got to stop saying that you're not a salesperson. you are a salesperson. I'm like, no, I just talk and I like to talk to people. I'm relatable and they buy things while we're talking. He's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then he made me director of sales. So I had to kind of accept that. But the other day, I realized that I'm a salesperson. Like I love sales. That is something that is in me. And I own that. And I was thinking about you because you're always like, this is a business. I'm making a business decision. You're able to cut that and like cut the emotion out of things. You kind of, you have that. It's like the traditional testosterone. I'll say it. I'm not going to give men that, but testosterone comes out in you. How do you do that?
That's a very good question. Um, I, I've learned a lot of lessons from life. Had to be kind of harsh about things. I've had some really good people in my life who have helped me along that journey. My sponsor in my first company was fantastic and really treated her business as a business and began me on that trajectory. And one of our mutual friends, Chris Denton, also has been really instrumental in helping me view business as a business. Mm-hmm. And I know this can sound funny, but a lot of the time I will ask myself, if I were a man, what would I do? And I live in the deep South. So I was raised in the deep South. I know you can't tell from hearing me talk. And, I was not raised like that. I was not raised to think like this is business and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I really will ask myself often, if I were a male in the business world, how would I approach this? And that's helped me because I understand and can visualize and can think, okay, a man would not be worried about the things I'm worried about. And so much of that's culture. So I think that has really helped me. And as I've made decisions and they've paid off, I have realized that I can make more decisions and I have more faith in myself. The other thing is when you stop drinking on January the 2nd, 2020, and the whole entire globe is burying themselves in a bottle and you are still hanging tight to not doing it, it gives you a lot of confidence that you can do a lot of hard things.
Amen to that.
And that has been maybe the single most important thing the last 2 years. I'm coming up on 2 years of sobriety. It has given me the confidence to make hard decisions and to stand by them.
I love that so much. That is empowering in so many ways. Tell us about Hugh and Grace, my dear. This new adventure you've embarked on. I don't know why I put on an accent. I just it just came.
It just seemed like you should. I was already, as I mentioned, on a sort of health and wellness journey. I was the youngest person to ever be diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome at Children's Hospital in Birmingham, Alabama, when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So I was the youngest person they'd ever diagnosed with that. So to say that I have kind of a history with health stuff, but in this portion of my life, this, 40 plus portion of my life, what I have really realized is that for me, I, am seeking out movement and mindfulness and trying to manage my anxiety. I was on this journey already. And as I said, I pivoted to a different company and was still sort of floundering around. And when I heard of Hugh and Grace, which is hormone safe products, and I began to do research, I did the thing that I'm a researcher, I'm in academia anyway. I really went, oh my gosh, this I think is the missing piece for me. I had already been working on gut health and inflammation and, stress reduction and all the things. And then to really realize the toxins in our environment and all of those things, I just felt like some things clicked for me. So again, for me, this is about being authentic and be able to be authentic. I am absolutely a salesperson and I've had to own that, but I have realized that I do best when I'm selling something authentically that helps people. And I had the light bulb moment where I went, okay, People are not talking about this, and I can educate people and give them concrete things that they can do to improve their quality of life. And I jumped on board, and it has been so fun. It's a startup. So we get to be like right at the beginning, and all of that beautiful momentum that happens in the community and the fun of that. It has given me something else to educate people about. And I am an educator at heart. So that really speaks to me. And people are responding. Like, it is something that clearly I've hit a nerve with my audience, my particular audience. And people are joining me. They're like, what are you doing? Tell me about that again. What's going on? And I'm like, woo!
And it makes me so happy because you found your place. And there's no doubt in my mind that you found your place. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And we can see everything makes sense when you look back. Nothing makes sense when you look forward.
Absolutely.
And so it all makes sense. And I love it so much for you. It's so fun to see the reception you're getting from it. It's so fun to see you in a company that is new, but man, they're just knocking it out of the park in a lot of phenomenal ways. Where I'm like, they did what? I mean, just amazing, amazing things going on over there.
Well, and I was not at the very beginning of my first company, but I was right when momentum had really hit. And so I know what that looks like. Mm-hmm. And to get to be in that fun, like, it's fun. And really, this should be fun. It is work, but goodness, it's so nice when it's fun too. Mm-hmm. And I'm building a community and a team of people that I'm so honored to be connected with. And part of that has happened because I've been authentic. Mm-hmm. And I've put myself out there. So here I am, and I'm sitting in Alabama, and my new team is in places like Texas and Arizona and Oklahoma. And, I mean, it's just
already, that's so exciting.
Florida and some people here. And I mean, it's just so fun.
I love that. Again, I can see you having fun, and it makes sense too. You don't think about what you're putting on your body. We take more concern about what we're putting in our body. And I know clean beauty has become a thing. But we all know that clean beauty is just a phrase.
It truly is. And the thing that I really found out, the one fact that really just made me go, oh, okay. The FDA has not updated its guidelines on chemicals and what's safe and what's not in a strikingly long amount of time. Wow. And so as consumers, we're in the position right now where we have to make a lot of those decisions for ourselves. And I think we instinctively know that in some ways. But the other thing is that can be very overwhelming. Most people are not going to go research like I do. And most people don't have access to the research I do. I mean, I work for a university, so I can legit go look at peer-reviewed journals and stuff and know how to read them. And so one thing that I love is that I am in a position to help to make those decisions easier for people. And that Hue and Grace as a company has said, we are doing the hard work, and we are making sure, and we're being very transparent about what we're doing, and we're calling upon experts, that I get to do that as well. I get to say to people, listen, I know it's overwhelming, and if you want me to tell you the science, I'm perfectly happy to do that. But let me just tell you, if you're putting stuff on your face or you're putting it in your body, it's getting in your body and it has an effect. So why not do something simple that makes your life a little bit better?
Yeah. The hormone part of it too. I think that when I heard that, I was like, wait a moment, because I always wonder, back in my day, most girls didn't get periods under like double digits. And, back in my day, when I was 16, I didn't look like 16-year-olds look like now.
Oh my gosh. Me either.
Neither did anyone else in my school for that matter. It wasn't just that I was like a late bloomer, like nobody looked like that. And so you have to wonder, what is it that we're doing that is speeding up that cycle? And you have to wonder, is it something that we're eating? Right? Why wouldn't it be something that we're eating or we're ingesting in some way on our body? We got to wonder. I mean, this is not me being like, conspiracy theorist. It's just like basic.
Well, if you look at the statistics, particularly women, we are sick. Like we are run down, sick, stressed out, chronically ill, autoimmune. And I told you this, like I'm the poster child for Hue and Grace. Early puberty. I started my period at 10. Early puberty, endometriosis, infertility, miscarriage, hypothyroidism, chronic fatigue syndrome. I mean, I sound like I'm a mess. I'm really not, but I've had all of these things. And here I am, and I'm rounding into I'll be 46 in April and coming into perimenopause and all the things that means. I mean, and I am not alone by any stretch. Mm-mm. And I do feel like when I started researching this, I kind of went like, no wonder we're all sick. No wonder we're all sick.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to all be sick. And I'm not naive enough to think everybody is going to change everything. But I know there are people who are on the journey like I am. And I know that there are things that we can do.
Well, you have to wonder, you may not have to do everything, but if I adopt one thing, if it's what I'm putting on my face or how I'm cleaning my clothes, what I'm cleaning that with, or whatever it may be, that one thing could be enough that it doesn't trigger my body to go into some crazy spiral.
Inflammation, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jinx. And it is all about small changes. Sobriety has taught me that. That was the big change, but all of the changes after that, a lot of them tiny choices, and they add up.
Which is exactly what social media is about. Like what Social Stories is about, tiny changes that add up.
That's exactly it.
That's what the membership is about.
And if you go look at mine at Yoga Pants Warrior, that's what I am on Instagram, you'll see the journey.
Yeah, slide down.
You very much see it. If you go all the way back, I think I'm on like 500 something posts now, but if you go all the way back, you can watch the progression and really watch me come into my own voice and my own agency and find ways that I'm helping people and educating people. And so it's all of it ties in. Small changes. I think it's James Clear in Atomic Habits says that if you just change 1%, if you just get 1% better, by the end of a year, you've gotten however much, and that's math. So it's not 365% better necessarily. Right. I don't know.
But it's high. Whatever it is, it's high.
It's high. It's good. You've made a lot of change.
I love that. This has been phenomenal, Elizabeth. You have to come back and talk to us again. We've covered so many great things, but I think you're just good for the soul. You're good for the soul.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. We heard how we found you, but tell us one more time. We hop on Instagram if we want to chat with you about any of the things you've talked about today.
I would love for anyone listening to find me on Instagram. It's Yoga Pants Warrior. And if you look under that, it says Elizabeth Living Sober. So that's how you know you found me.
Fantastic. And of course, if you're listening on the podcast page, we'll have her information as well too. So thank you. Thank you. Happy holidays. You do anything fun for the holiday? For Christmas?
I'm so excited. We moved just a short time ago and we are hosting our family here for Thanksgiving.
You are?
We are. And my husband is cooking. And so, because he's wonderful like that. And so we're just going to have our family here.
I love that so much. Yes, I forgot. I was thinking Christmas, but we are recording this on the 20th. So the week of Thanksgiving is coming.
And then for Christmas, I have no idea yet.
Yeah, let's get to Thanksgiving first. How about that?
That's right. I don't know yet. Next week.
Thank you, Elizabeth Ann. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for you.
Amen. Thankful for you.
Y'all, I hope you enjoyed that. I know you did. Isn't she amazing? It's so funny because as I mentioned to you at the beginning that I always record the intro after the conversation. So I stayed here, but she went on. I just got a message from Elizabeth saying that while we were doing the interview, she just got a new promotion in her company. I love that. Things are happening even when she's not there. She's spending her time talking to us. Things are moving and shaking and baking for her. So congrats to her. And that makes me so happy. Listen, I hope that resonated with you. And do me a favor, will you share this podcast episode with someone who needs to hear it? Because I know there are so many good things in there that can help not only you, but others as well too. Share it with them, share it with them, share it with them. So we are rolling into, it's the 20th. I'm about to go to a sound bath with my friends. I've only done one sound bath before. Have you ever done a sound bath? I did a sound bath but I did it when we went to the Bahamas this year. And it was just me in a sound bath at the spot. And I got to say, I was like, this is interesting, but I'm missing something. Well, I think what I was missing is other people is what I hear. So I'm excited to go to my first sound bath with my peeps. And also I've committed to making sure eventually, not yet, but that one day a week is a day that I just totally turn off, especially now that as I told you in the last episode, I'm doing more. And so I'm not there yet. Megan Summerall has given me that piece of advice, and I'm not there yet, but I'm doing little things. And so I'm really excited about going to the sound bath because that's one of those little things. One of the things that I can do right now to turn off completely, hang out with my girlfriends. We're going to go have some dinner. Yeah, it'll be early dinner after that and just not think about work. Although I do love being here with you. You know that. So that's what I'm doing. And then for Thanksgiving, we are staying in town this year, but we're going to go out for Thanksgiving dinner. That's what we do. I don't cook Thanksgiving dinner. It's just two people. When it's two people, it's like a turkey. Frankly, I don't know how to cook a turkey. So that's just not going to happen. So we're going to run off I think we're going to the water grill. That's what we decided on. So I'm excited about that. And lots of great endeavors going on. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm jibber jabbering enough. The podcast stands for itself. So, y'all, I've been talking for so long. I'm like, okay. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. You're going to hear this after Thanksgiving. So I hope even in this holiday season, find time to find some joy and do something for you because it can be a lot. It is the most wonderful time of the year, and sometimes that can be a lot. And while you're listening to this, I think Hanukkah will still be going on. So happy Hanukkah to those of you who celebrate Hanukkah. Happy holidays. And don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. We have new episodes of the Roxtalks all throughout the year. So I will see you next week. Thank you for being here. And I want to remind you, you are not ahead. You're not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Roxtalks. Take care. Bye.